Hey guys, good morning, and welcome back to CSX's Port of Jacksonville. I apologize for not doing some videos sooner, guys, but I've been actually sick. I've had bronchitis and pneumonia, so you can actually probably tell in my voice a little bit. I was out for about, feels like a month now, guys, but it's probably been pretty long. So excuse my voice today. But I wanted to do a quick video of the layout, my latest update here. So actually, guys, this video is called basically a crane that was never supposed to be built. So we'll go on to the layout here, and I will show you a little bit. I'll show you this crane, and I talked to you a little bit about it. There's so much to talk about cranes. Cranes are amazing pieces of machinery. Amazing pieces of that could lift things that are just extremely overweight. They're kind of like why I like things in the world, why I like engineering a little bit, why I like trucks and trains, all thanks to my grandfather. My grandfather was like three people in my life. He was my mentor, he was my grandfather, he was also my father. My father left when I was 2 years old. So he was that person that you need in your life to support you. And that's exactly what my grandfather did. He was a very, very smart man, probably one of the smartest guys that I knew. I learned a lot of my information from him. He was loading railroad cars in the city of Waterbury when one of his first jobs. His next job in the Navy was driving trucks, delivering torpedoes, and then from there he became a chief damage control on board ships in the Navy. His last ship was an aircraft carrier, USS Wasp, CD-18. So before I get on a tangent and go about my grandfather, because I could talk about that man forever, he is who I am today. I've been driving trucks for about 25 years. That's why you always see a lot of trucks on my layout. Trucks, trains, everything had an influence. Everything that my grandfather had something to do with, it's something that I had something to do with. He came out of the Navy. He did reserves for the Navy. He also did construction equipment, and he had his own construction company for a while. So when I was a kid, I was in excavators. When I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I was in excavators with him and stuff like that. So it's kind of why I like what I like. So the story of today is the crane that was never supposed to be built. So I'm going to show you a crane right now. And this is the crane right here. Okay. All right. So we're going to pause the video for a sec. Let's show you the height of the crane. Goes up above the shades. It's pretty tall. All right, and then I'm going to pause the video for a second. Okay, guys, so this is the crane. This is the box of that crane. It's a Kimber 13006. That's the number on it, 13006. And that's the crane a little bit here. I'm going to pause it for 1 second. I want to give you a better look at the box. Okay, guys, so this is the crane. And it's a Liebherr LTR 1800. Now, guys, I'm not sure if when it comes to crane talk, maybe more people could tell you about that, but if that's how much that crane could lift, 18,000 pounds, maybe, I don't know, or that's just the actual number of the crane, because like when we're driving excavators, if you got a 345 cat, that would be the bigger the number, the more powerful the engine, or the bigger the unit is. So I don't know how that is in cranes. I'd have to actually look that up. But here's the crane. Here's the box. And that's the crane when it looks like there. And this says it's an MSRP of $105 on the box. And I got it for $89. I think I actually bought it for $60. I bought this crane when I first came down to Florida, and I got it in DeLand, Florida, at the first train show that I came down from when I came down from Connecticut. So that's the box there. Put this up here. If we're going to put this back up here, guys. There we go. Okay, guys, so that's the crane. The story behind this crane is that a buddy of mine, who's my buddy Jimmy, he's an RC guy. So if you guys like RC cars and stuff like that, he could build. He just got a Tamiya Bruiser. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's kind of an off-road, kind of a Toyota pickup truck type thing. He's into RC cars. So one day he was home, and he asked me, he was looking at all my models that I have, a ton of models and buildings that I haven't built yet, because transporting models, guys, is to go to another place is horrible. As you guys know, the one thing that I wanted to do was to transport these models and make sure that they're okay. So I decided to not build any more of the models that I have, the buildings and stuff like that, because and I've got a bunch of them put away, and I don't have the space in here. And once we get a home, hopefully that's going to be next year, I'll end up building my dream layout, and that's what I really want to do. So I had a bunch of models in there. Long story short, he was like, hey, can I build one of these models for you? And I'm like, sure, take whatever you want and go for it to build it. Because he's just one of those guys that he could just build stuff, that type of thing. So he went and he looked at this crane model. I said, all right, good luck with that one. And I said, it's going to be some time consuming. And he's like, yeah, I'm probably sure it is, but I'll have fun. So I said, yeah, that's the whole thing, to have fun with that model. Guys, I gave that model to him in July of this year, and he just completed it last week. But it was, if you guys look at this model, there on the back there, where the weight is, actually if I could show you, trying to point things out. Let me get you guys look right here. If you see this, where this weight is here, and the string that comes up here and goes around these pulleys that are here, and then they go down into the spools. He said there was probably about 30 feet of that string just to spool around. Now this string here, up here, that rises, I'm trying to follow it with the camera. It goes up here, goes around here once, and then comes down to the hook that's right here. Okay, that's the main one. And that's the one where, if you're looking at the hook there, this is the turn to turn the crank. Turns the crank that turns, makes the hook go up and down. Sorry, losing my train of thought. And then you have these two spools in the back. One spool comes up here, goes around here, goes to the back where the weight is here on the crane. This is called a telescopic crane. This is a telescopic crawler, is basically what it is. And the reason why it's crawler is because obviously the crawl tracks that you see here at the bottom. So this was a really, really cool. I gave it to him in July. He just gave it to me back. And every time, he's a truck driver as me, drives down the road, and he's like, every time I'm driving down the road, I'm looking at these cranes. By the end of, the time that he was done with this thing, he doesn't even look at cranes anymore because he got so frustrated building. I said, listen, if it's frustrating, don't do it. I said, it's supposed to be fun. He's like, no, I love it. It's just, getting things that work the way they're supposed to work and figuring things out, because the instructions on these cranes are very, very, they're very limited. And you're figuring out kind of things in your head. When you're building some of these buildings, guys, they're not just, some of the stuff is just not cut and dry. Just like this comes to here, that goes to there. But that's the crane. So he ended up building it, and we built it as an aesthetic model. So it does turn 360 degrees, does do 360 degrees. The cats do not move. It's a static model. So the cats don't move, but it does turn 360 degrees. The boom does go up and down. I can make the boom go up and down. On the crane, I can make the boom go up and down, obviously telescopic, but I could actually lower it and raise it with the with the strings that are in the back of this crane. So if I'm trying to get a better look at it, you guys can see it. I kind of should have probably pulled it from the boat over here, from the boatyard, but I think it looks great in this boatyard. There's so much to talk about this thing. He did some weathering on it. He did grease streaks. Mammoth is what I wanted to put on it, and that's what he put on it. And there's a pictures of a mammoth right there. You can turn you around a little bit. You can see the mammoth. And they put grease streaks on it, and he did a really good job. Did a really, really nice job with that crane. The reason why I say it was never supposed to be built, because it was supposed to be, I bought it as a load because I already have a crane. I'll show you that crane as well. But it was supposed to be a load for, I saw years and years ago, about 20 years ago, I saw a crane on a train. And they had like one of these cats, one of these tracks that were on in, I think it was a 60-foot flat car, and then the other track would be on a 60-foot flat car. Sorry if I'm moving the camera around, guys, a little bit. I'm just trying to explain to you a little bit about it. That was on a 60-foot flat car, and then the centerpiece would be on a flat car, and the boom was on another flat car, and a lot of the rigging was on the other flat car, and a weight would be on the other flat car, and that was going to be load. So I thought it was going to be an interesting load. But I'm actually really glad that he built this, because it is a really cool model. I could always use two cranes on my layout. This is the crawler crane. I do have a mobilized crane, and I'll show you that one in a second here, okay? Okay, so here's the mobile crane. Here she is. So right in back of it is a 53-foot trailer. And that's the mobile crane that I have on the layout. That guy's been sitting there for about 20 years. So he runs the operation here. So this I put Godwad on it, or whatever it's name. Most of these cranes have like German names and stuff like that. So what's the difference in between these two cranes? I'm not a crane guy. As far as knowledgeable on cranes, I just know a little bit from my grandfather, that type of thing. But all cranes are different, and they have their pros and cons. This is a mobilized crane, so this one could get to a job site a little easier. Depending on how the roads were and stuff, they would have to take this main boom here you see off, and they would take it off right here. A flatbed trailer would back up against here. You just widen the angle out a little bit, guys, for me. So a tractor trailer would back up here with 2x4s, or not 2x4s, big timbers. It would back up here, and they would disconnect these bolts here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 on this one, but they would disconnect this bolt, and that would come off. The other thing that would come off would be this weight on the back of the crane. So they would take this weight off. The other thing they would have to transport are these outriggers. These are called outriggers. And these outriggers go on each side here and here, and on the other side. So these outriggers come off the crane, and they actually extend out too. So they would be put on trailers. So you need a trailer here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7, or 8 trailers. And this is considered a mobile crane. It's got the big Oshkosh wheels on it. If you're looking at a car wheel, if we take, oops, sorry about that. If you take a car, compare the car wheels to an Oshkosh wheel, it's just huge. Big wheel. So, that's what you do on that. So that's the hook. There's my hook there. So the difference between this crane, guys, and the crawler is there's, like probably said, pros and cons. This one's actually over here can build itself. And what I mean by that is the boom would be let down. Same thing with the boom. The trailer would be that boom that you see on the crane here. Could be lowered all the way down into it, so it's telescopic crane. And then that boom could be taken off the bottom there, and then they could put that on a trailer. The next thing that would go on the trailer is the tracks. So on all four sides of the table base of that are hydraulic pins that come down. They're hydraulic jacks. They pull up. After they would take the boom off, they would use the rear boom there to lift up the hydraulic jacks. The whole table of the base of the crane would lift up, and they would take off the caterpillars, and they would go on a tractor trailer. And then the weight again would be taken off and put on another tractor trailer. Also, the riggers on the front stabilize the crane from lifting stuff in the forward position. Once those hydraulic cranes, the hydraulic jacks lifted up, a truck could slide under it, and then the base could be off. And then on the other side of it, the control swing arm with the driver, where the driver sits, that would be taken off as well, and it could be transported. So the positives on this one is that it could probably lift a lot more weight, a little bit more weight than the other one. Telescopically, a telescopic boom is basically a main boom with 1 to 3 to 4 to 5 smaller booms, and each boom is smaller than the other, the way it goes inside the train. So I could talk to you, I could do a whole video on cranes, basically what I'm doing here, but I could do a whole day on cranes because there's so much to talk about them. But that's why I did that for this layout. He built it as a static model, and it looks great, and I love it, and I'm glad he did it. So the other advantages of the other crane, this can get to a site easier, right? That one would be a little bit more time consuming to put together. That can also go on the mud, and it usually wouldn't get stuck, but if they had bulldozers and stuff, they could pull it out. Same with this one. This one can't get stuck in the mud too much more. There would be a lot more problem to pull it out of the mud, obviously, because the big Oshkosh wheels, and if it sunk, that would be a problem. But this one has a little bit of a better all-terrain. I mean, it can't go up, 8% grades on a hill or something, but I don't know what the balance level is in there. And when these things lift up things, they actually have a weight that they could, it shows them in their gauges and their consoles and stuff inside here where they could actually lift these up. So these, the two pilot pods on each side of the crane are, have immense controls in there that can tell them dials and indicators that basically of how they could lift, and each one, if it's a warning, if it's too heavy. But these things lift everything that we've seen as far as skyscrapers and buildings and all kinds of things. They lift all these sports arenas, and I know I seen one lift a bridge over a set of railroad tracks in New Haven, Connecticut, where I'm from. Connecticut. I'm actually from Waterbury, but down in New Haven, the rail yard down there, they lifted a bridge up to get over the Metro North commuter railroad and Connecticut Department of Transportation down there. And they had this crane called Big Blue, and that thing lifted the whole bridge up and set the bridge in place. So it was pretty neat. So these are cool. Just wanted to talk to you about a lot of this stuff for cranes. Thanks to you. I enjoy everything that I see from you guys. I'm on Instagram as Joey D CSX. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can see my, I just post pictures and I'm kind of a storyboard of what's going on with this layout. Thanks, and I appreciate everything. Appreciate all your comments. Everybody have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And take care and good luck, and God bless you guys. God bless you. Take care.